that if Cotto won, it'd be a perfect opponent for Floyd to come back. Do you feel the same way for Canelo now, with the corner proving themselves, he proving himself? Do you think that now applies to him?
I think that it is an interesting rematch with Floyd. Floyd would still be favored, and Floyd, I think, looks at Canelo and goes, that guy can't beat me, so if he comes back, maybe Canelo. But why, if you're Floyd, why wouldn't you want to do Pacquiao again? If it does half the business of the first fight, which it probably does at best, you're doing 2.2 million pay-per-view buys against a little guy who you must feel can't beat you. So, that to me would still be more likely.
And as far as Golovkin, he was here. We tried to ask about him, wouldn't speak too much, but is that a possibility for him, actually, or should he just kind of accept the fact that Canelo won't fight him, at least not now?
I don't think it'll be an immediate fight, but those who think it's way off in the future are underestimating, I think, Canelo's competitiveness and Golden Boy's DNA. Oscar was brought along very carefully and smartly by Top Rank. And he was considered, I felt at the time, incorrectly the best pound-for-pound fighter in the world way too early, because Roy was in his prime back then. I was like, look, Oscar's really good. That guy's a different thing. But at a certain point, Oscar wasn't, he heard people saying, you're being built, you're not fighting the top guys, and you saw every weight class he was in at 130 pounds. It wasn't Gabe Ruelas, it was someone else. At 135 pounds, it wasn't Stevie Johnston, it was, Rafael Ruelas. It wasn't, there was always a top guy that he didn't somehow fight in every division. And those weren't even big fights. It was just like everyone knew those were the best fighters. And at a certain point, Oscar told Top Rank, basically, look, I'm a fighter, man. I'm fighting all these guys. And in a sense, no good deed goes unpunished, because what wound up happening is Oscar became underrated by history. Like, the fans love him, but history's going to underrate him because he has all those losses. And Floyd, Floyd's a greater fighter than Oscar anyway, I agree. However, like, for example, they fought each other. Oscar was almost at the end, Floyd was in his prime. That was a competitive fight. It shouldn't have been a split decision, Floyd won, but that was a competitive fight, and Oscar was basically done. So he's closer to the Floyd level, I think, than people realize. He's a great fighter, but all the losses have, Oscar, you don't think of him as like pound for pound all-time guy. But that's okay with him, because he proved himself the better or the equal or a slightly lesser than all the best fighters of his era. That's who Oscar is. That's in the DNA of his promotional company. You saw as soon as he got control of Golden Boy, they make fights where if you're looking at it, you go, that's not in their best business interest all the time, but that's what they're about. Let's make good fights, and that's what Canelo's about. So, in the end, dollars and cents are going to say there's not going to be an immediate Canelo Triple G fight, most likely. But I just have a feeling that fight is going to come sooner than people expect.
Does this Triple G, this version that you saw tonight, does he stand a chance against Triple G or Floyd? I mean, is he a different fighter now, and does he stand a chance against either of those guys?
I don't know if he's a different fighter. He's a better fighter. And you look at his resume now. He got a win against Cotto. He deserved it. He got a win against Lara. And you know me, I love Cuban boxing, but I thought he deserved it. I thought Canelo won that fight. You could have given it to Lara, but my card had Canelo. Same thing with Trout. Like, he's beating young, excellent fighters in their primes in close competitive fights, and great smaller fighters, by a decisive margin. He's really good. Canelo's really good. To beat Floyd or Triple G, you have to be great. So, we'll see if he can be great. At this moment, you would favor Floyd or Triple G, but could you imagine how good a Triple G Canelo fight would be?
How do you see it? Break that one down, Mac. What do you see in that fight, especially with a guy that can make Canelo fight for 3 minutes of every round?
I'm not going to make a prediction, because essentially the policy is, if you might call the fight, don't say who.
Exactly.
But I'll say Triple G will be favored to win. He should be favored to win. But Canelo is what makes that fight so great. You remember James Toney and Vasily Girov?
Mm-hmm.
Girov just didn't want you to go anywhere. He wanted you to stay right there so he could get in and land the body shots. And James Toney didn't want to have to go anywhere either. He wanted a guy to come to him so he could counter. So you knew Girov and Toney was can't miss. Triple G wants to come at you. And Canelo doesn't want to have to find you. He wants you to come to him.